Alright, so we're back with a new project. The LT1 truck's going on the back burner. It's sitting off screen over there. That made me mad, frustrated, but I have other things with more importance going on right now. But this is a 78 CB400A for HONDAMATIC that I got. And we're trying to fix it up for my lovely woman. We gotta add all kinds of stuff. You see the blinkers up, the blinkers are off of it. There's no tail light on it. There's no fender on it. So we gotta add LED versions of all of that. There's no air box in it, so we gotta get it, build our own or try to reuse the old one. Don't know how that's gonna go. And we just added a little headlight up here, which you'll see in a minute whenever I try to wire it up. So, oh, and it's really loud, no exhaust. Gotta change out the rear sprocket too, and it's got no front brakes. So we got our hands full with this, and I'm hoping to knock out most of it today. Alright, so the first thing we're going to tackle is putting this on there, because that one, well, you can't see it right now, but I'll show you when we get it off. I'll compare them. That one is really bad, real bad. So once I get it off, I'll give you a sneak peek of how bad it is. So I'm doing something a little sketchy here, because this cup is the only thing I have that is big enough to get that bearing out. This bearing's not very well in there. It's not very tight. But I can't hit it with a hammer and get it out. So I'm going to attempt to use this cup to press it out. And we're going to hope that this cup doesn't just kick out and smack me in the face, because that would probably hurt. So let's see what happens. Ooh. To be honest, doesn't look like it's doing much. Well, that did a whole lot of nothing except push the bottom in. So I guess we're on to figuring something else out. Alright, we finally got it out. We used a hammer and jack stands in order to beat this thing out. But that right there is what we call shark finning. And that actually shark finned to the point that it broke them off. That was what it used to look like, and then it broke all the rest off. And then that is what it's supposed to look like. So this was a big danger for this motorcycle, so we're going to throw this on there and move on to maybe headlights or getting it running right, one of the two. I don't know yet. Alright, so we got the new sprocket on finally. It doesn't pop. It used to pop before whenever the tire rotated. And we adjusted the rear brake on it. Now, we're going to work on getting it to run correctly, hopefully all the way out. Right now it breaks up like 5,000. So I built my own velocity stack for the other side. Whatever you can see. It's got a piece of foam on the end for restriction. Got one over here. I'm going to build hopefully an identical one for this side, see if they run kind of right, and then maybe I'll put a pod filter on the end of it. If it works. If not, I'm going to have to custom up the air box. But I'm going to get the cut and fit in a velocity stack, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so got the velocity stack on there. Done let it warm up a little bit. I'm going to fire it up, let you hear how good it runs now. And this is for the lack of the exhaust clips for CB400As. She's running pretty good. Alright, so before we move on to lighting, I'm going to go ahead and chop this rear fender because I'm excited about it, ready to do it. I've got a little mark on here to give me an idea what it's going to look like, but I'm just going to chop right across the top of this and then fix it up from there. Alright, so you can see we got it. Not gonna run my finger across that because that probably would cut me, but ignore these marks. That was just a prototype thing we was doing. But now it's gonna be on and tackling the headlights and stuff of that nature. We're probably gonna have to make a store run to go get connectors, but should have some form of lights here in a moment. Alright, so we got this fancy little headlight wired in. I don't know if I can get that to focus. It's got that ring in it. Oh, there we go. See? Ring, high, low, and the high works on the dash. So now, gotta get these fancy little blinker taillight combos working. But my issue is, I got one set of wires here that's supposed to go to one taillight. Now we got two taillights. So I've got to build this fancy jumper harness, which I'll show you in a minute, to make all that work. Alright, so I made this jumper harness right here, but it did not work. I've got to figure out a way to turn off the running light when you hit the brake, or to make the running light dimmer is what I meant. Got to make the running light dimmer than the brake, because right now they're both the same. So I don't know what I'm going to do for that one, but I'll figure it out eventually. Alright, so we got everything else hooked up. The blinker taillight situation is kind of iffy. You know, it doesn't discern whether it's the brake light or the turn on. Like the running lights, it doesn't discern between the two, so I've got to get that fixed up. The blinkers, they don't blink left or right, they just both blink at the same time. So I've got to get that figured out. Other than that, all we've got to do is put a front brake on it and clean some of that up. We should be good to go. So I figured I'd make a short little video for this Sunday, and I'll make another one on this that probably in a couple weeks. Same with that truck over there, maybe in a couple weeks I'll mess with it. Don't know yet.